Previously on Up at Noon.
What's up, everybody? I'm Brian Altano with Up at Noon. Over the weekend, KJ Inafune, the creator of Mega Man, started a Kickstarter project to make a lot of money for his new Mega Man-inspired game. He made over $1 million, but I'd like to do a little history rewind and show you that we, here at Up at Noon, were actually the first people to ever give him money.
Mr. Inafune, I really think you're going to like what I've concocted here. This is Rainbow Man. What do you think of him?
No.
But what do you think of him now?
Okay.
Yep, that's $3 whole. So obviously that's going to get us tons of rewards, like
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Up at Noon. Yes, Mr. Inafune, we were there for you from the beginning, so give us what we want, or else. Want to get nuts? Let's get nuts! Brian Altano is here to tell you about what you can't do in Grand Theft Auto 5, and then PlayStation's Adam Boyes pops up to talk about why PS4 and Vita are taking indies on by the boatload. But first, the news you care about. The voice acting for Grand Theft Auto 5's gang members were reportedly recorded by real gang members, including one guy that literally got out of jail the day before he recorded. I know. So remember, kids at home, if you want to be the next Nolan North, murder Nolan North. Metal Gear Solid creator Hideo Kojima says he's making the characters in the upcoming Metal Gear Solid 5, quote, more erotic. Now, usually I can get away with watching erotic stuff if I tell my girlfriend I'm only doing it for the story, but Mr. Kojima, that gets a little tougher when the story doesn't make any sense. Clones and decoys? Scientists are saying it's possible the Triceratops never actually existed and was instead a younger version of a dinosaur called a Torosaurus. Look, scientists, I mean, like, we pay you to do three things, right? Look smart, blow up in space, and cure cancer. Thank you for the last one, by the way. But what we don't pay you to do, don't let him off the hook. What we don't pay you to do is ruin my goddamn childhood right now. The Triceratops, he was my favorite dinosaur, and you're taking him away from me just like you took away my favorite planet, Pluto, and my favorite option at McDonald's, super sizing. So it begs the question, eggheads, what's next? You're gonna tell me that fruit by the foot isn't measured in feet? That the Care Bears never really gave a shit? That Alvin and the chipmunks were really just a bunch of singing rats in oversized t-shirts? Well, I'm ready, you smart, stupid You can rip the Ghostbuster posters off my wall and the dinosaur bed sheets off my bed, but you will never take away the joy I felt the first time I saw Jurassic Park and that giant, beautiful Triceratops slumbered out, and he had that giant, beautiful Triceratops-sized and a giant Triceratops tear rolled down my giant Triceratops-loving face. Triceratops for life, A trio of women dominated the U.S. chicken wing eating competition last week, and to celebrate, I ate those women. HBO has announced that next year's season of True Blood will be the show's last, with 10 episodes left before the show ends forever. Yeah, give it up, it's fine. Now, some people out there are concerned, so if you're worried that won't be enough time to wrap up the show, I'm pretty sure 10 episodes is plenty of time for Suki to have sex with a mummy, a ghost, a Frankenstein, a zombie, the Invisible Man, the bad guy from Saw, the lion, the witch, the wardrobe, a werebear, a werelion. If you haven't seen True Blood, Anna Paquin has sex with everything. And finally, Grand Theft Auto 5 is a little over a week away, and the massive action title promises to be one of the balls-out biggest open worlds of all time. Or does it? Here to tell us more is IGN's Brian Altano. Brian!
Thank you, Greg. Grand Theft Auto 5 lets you go anywhere, shoot anyone, and do anything, or does it? Despite being a giant crazy-ass world full of freedom, there are actually a lot of things that you can't do in GTA. And since I work at IGN, I'm gonna do this as a list. Here are the top 5 things that you can't do in Grand Theft Auto 5. We don't have any cool graphics or anything, so just work with it. Number 5, you can't drive around town at night and secretly eat an entire pizza by yourself. Yeah, you can't do that in that game. I don't know about you guys, but when I think about realistic driving physics, I think about one hand on the wheel, one hand with an entire pizza. I'm just eating it by myself in my car, where nobody will see my shame. Number 4, you can't go to a cop's funeral and apologize to his family. Yeah, sure, you could kill 1,000,000 cops in GTA 5, but what about their wives and kids? What about the guilt I feel for ruining an entire family? I'm losing sleep over this shit. Number 3, you can't tell a girl you love her and really mean it. Really look her in the eyes as the rain trickles down the side of her one-way train ticket out of town forever. And scream her name as you tell her you love her like, Laura, why did you leave me? This is your baby too. Number 2, you can't watch the movie Hollow Man starring Kevin Bacon as the Invisible Man? The f*** here. They turn a gorilla invisible in that movie. That was in the year 2000. That's the power of a pre-9/11 world. Can you do that in GTA 5? Nope. They probably don't even have gorillas in that game. This was almost a top 10 list. And the number 1 thing you can't do in GTA 5, cry in the shower. Not everything is Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle. Sometimes it's a 13-minute long version of Guns N' Roses' November Rain. It's dark and heartbreaking, and there's a divorce and maybe a murder. Man, I'm getting old. Also, when you cry in the shower, your tears become invisible, which is like a real-life cheat code. GTA 5 is in stores this fall.
I guess we'll have to wait for GTA 6 to open up those worlds of possibility. Speaking of opening up worlds of possibility, Greg, wait! My next guest is doing just that for brand new PlayStation games. Here to tell me how the PlayStation 4 and Vita are changing the way indies get to consoles is PlayStation's Adam Boyes.
As I live and breathe.
Adam Boyes.
Greg Miller.
Oh man, that's you're good at the intros.
I'm trying to do a lot of yelling like you do.
You know what now? Come on.
It covers up the stuff I'm not that good at.
Yeah, the blatant incompetence on my part, not
Yeah,
you. That's
no,
what I've
exactly.
done. I've
That's your thing.
Risen to the top, just yelling
Yeah.
over everybody. Brad Shoemaker's trying to say,
Always yelling.
give IGN the exclusive.
Always be yelling.
Always be yelling. That's a great one. Here's what I thought. I book you on the show, and I'm like, ooh, is Adam Boyes a big enough name yet? Then you showed up, and Tim, one of our production guys here, he goes, holy that's the guy from the YouTube video, the YouTube sharing video.
Thanks.
With
Yes,
Shuhei, yeah.
that's the one.
So here's the question I have for you, for everybody at home. You work for PlayStation, we know
Yes.
that much, but who the are you? For years, you're watching these PlayStation conferences, and it's Jack, and it's Kaz, and then it's Shu once in a while.
Yep.
Then you start popping up.
Yeah, I popped up randomly. I made a bet at work. I won. So
Yeah.
from a small farm town in British Columbia, Canada, Abbotsford, BC. So I've been in the games industry for about 17, 18 years.
Yeah.
And I run publisher and developer relations. So my job is to go out there to talk to all the publishers and developers. Anyone that makes game content for the platform in North America, our team's job is to make sure their life is easy and wonderful.
So now, when did you come on to PlayStation?
About 16 months ago.
Okay, so kind of with the run-up to PlayStation 4 and what we're into now.
Yeah,
Is this all you? Are
Yeah.
you the one who's been doing
No.
everything right? 'Cause good job.
No. Thanks,
You're the
Brian.
guy
Thank
who's
you.
been
Thanks.
doing
Thanks.
everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, it's
The table had been set, Greg.
Oh, it had been.
Well, I mean, Cerny and Shu and Andy House. I mean, we had all the right people. And Andy House, he took over as our group CEO right around the same time, a couple years back. So, and then bringing on Cerny. Cerny did all the Vita design as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd already made our game platforms easier to develop for. And then, Shu was like the biggest indie fan on the planet. So I came in and I'd been experiencing Sony from the outside. So I'd submitted games, I'd been through the process, I'd tried to self-publish. And it was a pain in the ass. It was hard to do. So coming in, there was just like an external perspective of like, there's a lot of things that are really hard here. Let's knock them down and try to make it easy. And because Sony had built the PS4 to make it really easy for developers to use, it all was like, yeah, we're already doing that. Let's get on board and make it happen.
So this was basically a master stroke from the inside of everybody's like, this is what we need to do and change our focus and go do this.
Yeah, and it was sort of in motion with the architecture of the PS4 from the start, right? Making it just easy for people to make content for. And then we're like, let's get the tools and technology and all the submission process, make all that stuff easier. And we did, and that's why you see us working with the likes of like Blizzard and Bungie, and these are teams with a lot of very high, they have high quality bars, so we have to raise our game significantly.
How's that been going? Pretty well so far?
Good. Yeah, it's awesome. It's a dream job. It's amazing to work with these phenomenal studios and make their games better on PlayStation.
Was it hard to get in there and win that battle? You know what I mean? We talk about last generation things PlayStation 3 did wrong maybe, or PlayStation got off track. Xbox was getting a lot of exclusives, and they were knobbing stuff like this. It seems like now, at the very beginning, obviously, of the next gen, you guys are very much out in front saying, the February event in particular, right? Of like, read between the lines, like, we're sorry it was so hard to develop for PlayStation 3. No more sell. Port your games from PC. Let's do this.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you going in there as a new guy, it's easy because I'm like, I was on your side too. I worked at Capcom, and Midway, and EA, and I'd had some frustrations in the past. So it's like, we're here to listen to you guys and make it a lot better than it's ever been.
Okay. So then what is the mantra moving forward for PlayStation 4 and Vita, I guess? PlayStation, the brand.
Great games. I mean, the best place to play is really sort of what we're aiming for, and just making sure that everyone has the easiest, sort of pathway to get on the platform. That's critical for us.
So then, what are you doing to find these games? Are you walking around Penny Arcade, going to that indie booth nonstop? You on the Steam, the green lights? What are you doing?
All of them on the Twitters.
Yeah, the Twitters.
They have that too.
That's big.
No, it's amazing because I follow a lot of people in the industry and people in press and stuff like that. You see what they're talking about and downloading, playing a lot of games, and I have an amazing team of people from Brian Silva to Nick Sutner to Shane Buttonhausen that scour the earth as well to find great stuff.
I'm not sure about that Shane guy.
I know, with the hat and whatnot. But yeah, we just basically are playing games all the time, and then we approach developers. And it's easy when you love the stuff and when you're playing it incessantly. Like I remember somebody actually called me out after we had announced Rogue Legacy at Gamescom. They're like, I'm your friend on Steam. I've been watching you play that game every day.
Yeah.
I could have called that. I'm like, well, guilty.
Yeah.
Because those are the kind of games that we love playing.
So, are you sick of people coming to you with games yet? Like, did you turn a corner here where in the beginning you guys are reaching out and saying, hey, we want to get your game on PlayStation 4? And they're like, you guys, we don't want to go down that road with you. We know how tough it is. But now that you are putting out all these games, you are doing all this content, Contrast, Octodad, the list goes on. Are people starting to beat down your door now?
Yeah, I mean, it basically from February, when we had the announcement and we had John Blow on stage with The Witness, that was like, oh wow, that was kind of surprising for a lot of people. And then at E3, we called it the 9, right, where we had the 9 indies on stage and we had Supergiant and amazing developers like 17-Bit and the Secret Ponchos team and stuff like that. After that, they were like, okay, we saw the appetizer, now this main course, this is the real deal. So it made our jobs a little bit easier because they started reaching out to us. But the good news is it also put more eyes on the process, so it means that we have to continue to make it all easier and better, even faster. And that's what I like, is it raises accountability and it makes it so we have to, do a great job. And if we don't, people are going to talk about it very quickly.
To your face on Twitter.
To my face.
On the Twitters.
Yeah, there will be F-bombs and, bags full of poop on my
Wow. That's the side of game development you don't hear that much about.
No, not much.
Were you surprised by some of the blowback, the Twitter blowback, the NeoGAF blowback of, you guys came out at E3, show the system, blah, 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 here's some indie games. Then you come to Gamescom, show more indie games. And, dear PlayStation, why did you not show Uncharted 4? I did not buy this $400 of dollar hardware to play indie games.
Right. Well, I think that the thing that a lot of people miss is that independent developers are usually small teams, right? They're 1 person, 2 people, 5 people, usually aren't well funded. And because they literally have to rely on the payment and sort of how well their game does to pay their mortgage, they're very vocal. And when they're vocal, that means they're the ones, sort of yelling, saying, you need to fix this or I can't pay my mortgage, right? The big development teams are like, we're okay. Like, literally, if they find a flaw, they're like, oh, we'll just hire somebody to fix that flaw, and so we don't have to bother, Sony or the other guys about it. Whereas indies, they can't, right? If they hit a wall, they're stuck. So by making the platform easier for indies to build for, it makes it better from everyone. So we're going to see better content, faster patches, all that kind of stuff happening for everyone. So the benefit of the sort of knock-on effect of working closely with indies is everyone, gets better games, and then gamers get better stuff, and that's really the end goal.
So now, let's talk about this program you introduced at PAX.
Yeah.
You gave out one of your coworkers' Twitter handles.
I did, and he curses the day that I did that.
Well, now you did it as a kind of a way to pay it forward. Here on Up at Noon, like a year and a half ago, we had Randy Pitchford on. I asked him about Borderlands Vita.
Yeah.
He said he'd love for it to happen if it's ever possible. And I said, well, everybody tweet at Shu. And then Shu said, don't tweet at me, tweet it at him.
Yeah.
And then you made it happen.
And then you ruined my life.
What did I do? What you're a big success now. Look at you. I'm just saying.
You made me.
I'm just saying. Before Shuhei Yoshida was ever on Podcast
Thanks.
Beyond,
Can
he
I
had like
share with you?
9,000 Twitter followers. Before I ever told people to tweet at you, you were a nobody.
It's true.
Up at Noon.
There you go. I mean, it was one of those things. So my background is actually product development, making games. When I was at Capcom, I ran PD in the US and did like Street Fighter HD Remix and stuff like that. So when I came on board, I made a promise to my boss. I'm like, I know I have a product development background. I won't go start making games with on you.
Yeah.
He's like, good, just stick to the account management stuff. And then you guys had the conversation, and we started. Then I saw Randy Pitchford, and I took a photo with him, and we tweeted that out, and then went and saw Shu, and we're like, how is this going to happen? And I met with Shu, and I was like, how can we use some first-party stuff? He's like, no, we're focused on our stuff. So we started to have the revelation, we need to build it. If we're going to make this stuff, we're going to have to build it ourselves. So we brought on Gio Corsi from LucasArts to build and run the whole thing. So he's the one making Borderlands 2 and Vita happen with Iron Galaxy Studios.
So now people can tweet at him.
That's right, Gio Corsi.
And he will put out those games that everybody
He
wants.
better.
Because you said this at PAX. You said everybody tweet him, tell him what you want.
Yeah.
And he told me a lot of people did that.
Yeah, and now he's got a list at work of everyone on the planet and what they want.
What are the most suggested games you see?
There was a ton, if you sort of follow his Twitter feed, from Final Fantasy Type 0 to Yakuza 5. I mean, there was a litany of tons of games. So he's trying to right now, he's literally got a guy full-time, like, putting everything together, doing counts, and figuring out what's next.
And so then, if any of those kind of games are going to happen, like maybe that Gone Home, is the next step for you guys then to approach them and say, hey guys, there's this demand for the platform, how can we help you? Is that how this works?
Yeah, they're a production team, so they have the ability to find developers for our publishers, right, and sort of work together, whether it's localizing a game from Japan or building it from the ground up. Of course, the publishers and the IP owners, they get full approvals over it and stuff like that, but it's in order to help them out.
90% of the profits, don't you?
No,
you jerk.
No, Greg, we're just trying to make everyone's lives easier and better, and really help gamers get what they want. That's, I think, where Borderlands 2 came from. It's like, I'm on an airplane, and I love my Spelunky on my airplane, but I would love some Borderlands 2.
Hell yeah.
You
want to tell me all about that Borderlands 2? Is the saves carrying over?
It's pretty great. No details yet, Greg, but I know you made it happen, so you'll be the first one to know.
Exactly. Bring back and reveal on Up at Noon, right, Randy?
Yeah.
I don't think he likes me. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, tweet me to be part of the show at GameOverGreggy. I tell you who's on the show, like Adam Boy's here. Then we read your tweets here. When Jack was on, we did a quick fire round.
Yeah.
People really liked that.
Okay.
A lot of PlayStation. I have a bunch of questions here.
So quick fire it is.
I'm going to throw some at you, okay? Justin Earp says, when will we hear about the speed upgrades to the PSN?
We're putting more hamsters in the wheel.
Okay.
Anytime now.
All right, great. All right. Here comes one from Gary Hesselbrock. He says, what is it exactly that gives Sony the desire to be so active in the indie scene?
Rapid fire, just making lives better of the people that actually make the stuff, the hands-on, and making their mortgage payments come quickly.
Okay, great. You should have watched the show because you answered that one already. Sean tweets, he says, is there a single title that isn't on the PlayStation platforms that you would love to have?
Ultima 7.
Oh, good. I was going to say, don't cop out. Good job. That's a really good one.
It's one of my favorite games of all time.
All right, we got 2 left. You ready?
Yeah.
Mike says, will you try and pursue bringing Mighty No. 9 to the PS4?
Infinity was my boss at Capcom, so
Yeah.
I should call my old boss.
All right. There we go. Look at that.
I might have $3.
Hey, we got it off the ground, is
I
all
know.
I'm saying, all right? We want an Up at Noon boss in there. Julia tweets and says, it's great seeing a focus on indie with the Vita, but what is the future of that console for AAA? That's a good point. A lot of people were, again, dear PlayStation.
Right.
I don't want an indie station Vita.
Right. Well, I think with Killzone Mercenary, then of course we've got Tearaway and then we've got Borderlands 2. I think there's a lot of stuff that we're still cooking, so you'll find out soon.
All right. And the final quickfire for me. What do you think of that Xbox One release date?
Got a week, there's no relaxing in my job. It's not like, oh, now I can go on vacation. No, we're launching the console, and the day that console launches, we have, years and years of content we got to support. So, yeah.
Well, great.
It's exciting times, man.
It is. The
Video
next gen's
games,
beginning right now. The next gen
Video
right
games.
now. Video games.
Video games.
Adam, thank you so much.
Thank you, Greg.
That's our show, everybody. A huge thank you to Brian Altano, Adam Boyes, and you, my marvelous audience, packed full of women this time. If you want to be in that audience, go.ign.com/up@noon for details. As always, Brian and I will be responding to comments the first hour of this video is live, so come tell us what PlayStation indie title you're most excited about. Mine is DC Universe Online because f*** indies. Also, IGN's brand new iOS app launches tonight on the App Store, so go watch this episode and other IGN videos while you're there if you're not too busy sexting Mike Drucker. We'll be back next Monday with Meryl from Metal Gear Solid, but until then, I'm going back to bed. Triceratopsphonoi.com.